Okay, story time. But before I tell you the story, I want to ask you something serious. How would you feel if the IRS claimed a larger piece of your retirement than you were thinking? And then you realized you could have avoided this with a properly structured IBC policy. That sat with me and it bothered me. Now let me tell you about the story that I was going to tell you, a guy I recently spoke with. I presented a private equity opportunity to a client. High level deal. It was a roll-up play that was projected to do 3.5 to 4x of an investor capital in under 4 years. But he told me he couldn't do it. His cash was all tied up. Totally understandable, no big deal. But then he came back, he said something interesting. He said his parents had both retired and they said they could do the deal. And I'm like, sweet, that's great. They had $180,000 sitting in their retirement accounts and they wanted to grow that money, which is great, right? Then when they went to access it, reality came to him and said they could only do 140. I was like, well, you know, why? She said because she owed $40,000 in taxes of her own money from that. So let me repeat that. She had to pay 40 grand in taxes just so she could use her own savings. The money she worked her entire life to accumulate. It gets a little worse. So she was over 59 and a half, so she avoided the early withdrawal penalty. But when she pulled that money out, it pushed her into a higher tax bracket. And because of that, she was going to be forced to give back the Social Security income for the entire year. That's how retirement really works under the system that we have. You save for decades in a 401k or an IRA thinking you're being smart, but what you really have is a tax time bomb that you're not going to be able to diffuse. You don't know what the tax law will be when you retire. I don't know what it's going to be when I retire. You don't have any control of what the government wants with your money, and you have zero liquidity or flexibility without any consequences. So this is why I say retirement accounts aren't retirement strategies, they're tax deferral strategies with somewhat of a trap at the end. And this is exactly what IBC helps you avoid. With a properly structured infinite banking policy, her money could have been liquid, tax-free, and accessible and outside of the reach of the IRS. She could have written a check, no tax hit, no Social Security clawback, no begging Uncle Sam for permissions or extensions or anything like that. She could have used her own capital. Now, imagine what it feels like to be 65 and finally realize you were following the wrong roadmap. So if you're a business owner or an investor or a high income earner with large amounts of cash sitting in tax deferred accounts, you owe it to yourself and your family to at least understand this strategy. There's a better way to build wealth. And if you're curious, message me and I'll walk you through it.